Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cookie Bites with Girl Scouts of Silver Sage. I am Kim Ross, the Cookie Monster, and I am joined here with Kim Husin. She is Kim version 2.0, the upgrade, and our membership manager, Liana McGahee. She's going to help talk us through the family participation as it relates to not only the troop, but also the troop with the cookie and fall product programs. All right, Kim, we're ready for the agenda. So today we'll be talking about what support is needed for a troop and for the girls in the troop. We have a wonderful local patch program called For Her, and we'll talk about what that looks like and how you can earn that patch. We have family entrepreneurship pins, which we've talked a little bit about before, but we're going to focus on the family aspect this time. We'll also show some ways that you can help your girl by practicing skills at home, and then we'll look at systems to help. Kim, would you like to take it away?
Sure. All right. So first of all, we know our troop leaders are fantastic and amazing people, and they do so much for our girls and this program, but they shouldn't be expected to do 100% every single time. They need help. They like help. Um, but what does that help look like? Help is not always a assistant co-leader or even just an assistant for different levels if you have a multi-level troop. Um, Help could be somebody to drive to events or to carpool to meetings. Help could be supervision at cookie booths, someone to support or coordinate snacks and supplies, a decorator for a party or event, assistance on badges or patches. Maybe you have a nurse in your troop parents and they would be great to help facilitate a first aid badge. Um, and that's just the easiest example I can come up with. There's so many more. Maybe help is, finding the non-Girl Scout siblings and corralling them all up and taking them to a playground during the meeting time. Um, or just, occupying them in a separate space if you, have that availability to do so. Slide. Yana, you want to take this one, yeah?
Yes. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the 4 hours for her patch. This is one of our council's own patch programs, and this is a fantastic way for you to get involved, or your parents to get involved with your troop, and earn a reward that their daughter or daughters can show off for years to come. So 4 hours for her is achieved when a parent volunteers for a total of 4 hours in the year for the troop. And that volunteering, again, can look like any number of things. It can be somebody who is a co-leader to you. It can be somebody who is running a badge, some badge work for a meeting or two. It can be your troop treasurer. It can be, going back to Kim's example of, someone corralling all the tag-alongs and bringing them to a playground. It can be that person. And this is fantastic. This is that really tangible way for a girl to show off, hey, my parent helps out with my troop. It's great. And then, of course, as we head into cookie season, there's lots of opportunities for parents to get involved and be present and be helping with the troops cookie activities that takes a little bit off of that leader's plate, which is always appreciated, speaking from experience.
Okay, so the next thing we have are our family entrepreneurship pins. These are pins that can be earned every year by the girls, and these pins help to put troops, girls, and families all on the same page when it comes to their girls and their cookie goals. Um, so the different colors in here represent the different program levels of their patches. This will be the same color that borders all of their badges. That are either the flower, the triangle, the circle, the diamond, square shapes. I don't know what the ambassador shape technically is called. um, and so each of them represent different ones. There are 3 red ones because the cadets do have 3 years that they are a cadet. So there are 3 different pins for them. These pins start with skills such as their goal setting, learning how to get customers, practicing their sales pitch. And then as the girls get older, the pins move more into networking, making a business plan. By the time the girls reach the ambassadors, so the 11th and 12th grades, they're asked to look even deeper into how they would make a financial plan for themselves or for their business. They look at translating from cookies and service projects into their personal lives. So that is one of the things that is in there, which is a skill that is completely invaluable and something that a lot of adults struggle with. So teaching it to our 11th and 12th graders is a great start for them to have financial, oh my gosh, what's the word? Not stability, but
Freedom.
yes, financial freedom and, financial like wherewithal to kind of be able to work for themselves and be independent. There we go. That was the term I was looking for, financial independence. One of the more important things here is to have them practice at home. You wouldn't expect one of your kids who's in sports to just go to a ball game without having practiced, either with their team or at home during the week. I know when my brothers were both in baseball, and my dad basically every day after school would be taking them across the street to practice, throwing and catching. And I got dragged into it multiple times because, well, I'm the oldest and that's just what I do. So I got really good at throwing a baseball, believe it or not. So, as in many of aspects for the kids, so in their sports, in school, homework is what helps reinforce this with schooling and stuff like that. So this reinforces those ideas and concepts that they've learned elsewhere. So the things that they need to practice to succeed in the cookie program are their manners. So their please, thank yous, just being polite in general. Multiplying by 6, since our cookies are $6 per package. Their cookie knowledge, so knowing which different flavors that are available, knowing which flavors are vegan, which ones might have certain allergens in them, is kind of going above and beyond, that normal little bit of service of just, here, would you like to buy a cookie? These are great. They taste delicious. But you can also say, hey, these are delicious because they don't contain any whey or anything that has dairy in them. They can practice their sales pitch or their elevator pitch. The big difference between those is one is slightly longer than the other. So your elevator pitch is, if you think about it, and you have one floor's worth of time to get onto an elevator, talk to somebody into buying your product, and then they get off at the next floor. So that elevator pitch is supposed to be short and sweet and to the point. It lasts maybe a minute. And then your sales pitch is that longer version where you're talking about your goals, maybe what your troop wants to do, any sort of upcoming community service projects that your cookie funds are helping to fund with your troop. Then additionally, upselling. When the girls practice this at home or on the phone, or that's one of the things my daughter would do. She would call grandma and grandpa on the phone and she would practice all of these things so that she had like a real life customer in front of her. So, doing something like that where they're practicing that, oh, hey, have you tried the new cookie? I love it. It's delicious. You're going to love it too if you love chocolate. Or this is my favorite, and this is why it's my favorite. Kind of those little things that might upsell another package of cookies to a customer who's wavering between buying 2 or 3. They also have that opportunity to then use the 5 for 5 tickets to say, oh, hey, if you're already buying 4 packages, if you buy 1 more package, this is what you can get. You can win a tablet or 5 cases of cookies. Then also practicing sharing that information about Operation Cookie or their troops donation program. The more confident they are in talking about that, the more donations they will end up getting. And the last thing is just approaching every customer and talking to every customer. I know Kim and I have mentioned it before where, we were grocery shopping, walking out of the store, and The Girl Scout at the door didn't even acknowledge that we walked out, which is just, it's a missed opportunity for her to have gotten a sale. So just making sure that they talk to every customer, even if it's, you know, they got a slight pause in their transaction because their customer is looking for money, or, you know, they're debating on what cookies they want, they can break that concentration with that customer to ask another one, hey, are you interested in Girl Scout cookies? Would you like to purchase some? Then they're kind of floating between two different customers, but at the same time, they have interacted with each one. And that's when that parent can step in and help them out, because now they're trying to divvy their attention because bit off a little bit more than they can chew, probably. Unless you've got an older girl. The older girls can handle those two customers at the same time pretty well. The last little bit in here is just taking a quick look at Digital Cookie. Digital Cookie is a tool that is provided and managed by GSUSA. It was initially brought in with Little Brownie Baker's logistics system, eBuddy, in 2015. And then it was adapted to integrate into ABC's logistics system, Smart Cookies, in 2024. So it was 9 years before Smart Cookies got onto this, the system, because their eBuddy and Smart Cookies are very different. And Digital Cookie had to figure out how it was going to pull the same information from two very different spots and very different programs. So this system was designed to be used by girls and parents, and to assist with the transaction into the digital payments and digital transactions. That was its purpose. So after each cookie season, the Digital Cookie team at GSUSA uses feedback that they've gotten from parents, leaders, customers, councils, product managers, to make updates and improvements to the Digital Cookie system. So right now, if you tried to go log into the Digital Cookie, it is going to say it's closed for the season. It will not reopen until right before the cookie program starts. I think our access starts sometime in mid to late December. I don't know the actual date off the top of my head. And so once we get access to that again, that's when they'll be able to add those email addresses and things like that. But all of the updates will be made. So the new cookie will have been added. Some of the reports might have gotten updates, and other additional improvements to the system. They did a really cool update to how troops see their orders page and how they manage them. And it's awesome. I love it. But this is from the parent side. So parents, you do have to help your girls in Digital Cookie. Girls who are 13 and up do have the ability to access it themselves. And there's a lot of things that they can do, but there's still some things that they can't. So when you initially launch that Digital Cookies website, you do have to go in, set a sales goal, and there's a lot of extra arrows on here because I pulled this from a different presentation. So you have to set that sales goal. And then down at the bottom, you see that total sales progress. And so far, Emily has sold 0 offline sales. So this offline sales section does have to be manually updated through the web browser version. So on your computer or using the desktop version on your mobile device. This cannot be done in the app, to my knowledge at this time. This may have changed and I have not heard about an update yet. They're still telling us what the updates are for Digital Cookie for 2026. So I don't have all that information, but to the best of my knowledge, this does have to be updated manually from the computer web version side. And so if your Girl Scout sells 30 packages at a cookie booth, this is where that is added in. If she sells anything from her order card, use it through mom or dad's work, or walking around the neighborhood, this is where that number would get added. The online sales that it automatically calculates are literally just what is done online through the Digital Cookie system. Because as much as Digital Cookie talks to our Baker software, the Baker software does not talk back to Digital Cookie, which I think is where a lot of our families were getting confused last year. Another thing that all parents will have to do, regardless of the age of your child, is they need to approve or decline orders. So if you have a customer, so like looking at these two customers in here, one lives in Massachusetts and one lives in Ohio. If you live in Ohio and you don't want to deliver to the Massachusetts person because, well, you're not going to Massachusetts anytime soon, this is not something you can physically do, you would decline that order. If you are a family who lives in Idaho Falls and you get an order from somebody in Boise because they're ordering for their college student who is at BSU, and you cannot physically deliver the cookies there, you will probably have to decline that order. When an order is declined, the customer does get an email just saying that this is not able to be delivered in person. Would you like to order it for direct ship instead? And so that offer is made to that customer so that they can still get all of that in there. But these orders do need to be approved for girl delivery within 5 days of the order being placed. You can approve them individually, or you can select multiple of the checkboxes and approve them all at once. But that is something the parents have to do for the girls. Another thing parents have to do in here is mark their orders as delivered. So as the cookies are coming in and you have them in hand and you're getting those orders taken care of, going in here and clicking on that box next to select a customer, and then up at the top, that orange box that is currently grayed out because no customer selected, that is where you would mark it as delivered once that is done. Then that customer receives an email saying your order has been delivered. So they know to go either check their front porch or that their order is coming within 12 hours, because that's logically what's happening, is because you're marking them, I'm delivering these. And so they're going to be looking for that to get delivered. I think this is the final thing on here. For customers who maybe found you through a social media link, or they're a new customer to you this year and they got added into your digital cookie system, but they want to be notified as like a VIP customer next year to get that email right at the beginning of the program, they need to be manually added to the customer list. So on this example, we have our customer Nina, who, if you see all the way on the right, yes, right, is not listed in the customer list. She doesn't have a green check mark. So you would need to click on her box next to her name and add her to the customer list. Otherwise, she will not get added to that customer list in the following year, and her email will fall off as somebody who has ordered cookies. Another thing that Digital Cookie has is they have a mobile app. Now, the mobile app is really just a fancy payment transaction system, or a very fancy cash register, except it doesn't take cash, it takes cards. Card register? I don't know, that doesn't have the same kind of ring to it. So this app does have to be re-downloaded every year with the new updates. If you just kind of keep it and just think that maybe your updates will push through, for some reason this app does not work like that, and so Digital Cookie does recommend that you delete and re-download it every year. And it can be found on both the Apple and Google stores, so you can get it in both versions for Android and Apple. Same thing. So using the same email and password that you are going to use to set up the Digital Cookie site initially on the computer side, you will also use that same password to access the mobile app. But in order to access the mobile app, their web link or their web store has to be published on the computer side before the mobile app will be active. Once the mobile app is active, from left to right here, you will see that you have a selection of who wants to sell cookies, and you will have a choice between your girl, maybe your girls, if you have more than one Girl Scout selling cookies, and your troop or troops. If you have girls who are in two different troops, you will have two different troops on there. And so you can select who is selling cookies. If you are walking about the neighborhood, you are probably going to be selecting your daughter's name. If you are at a cookie booth, you are probably going to be selecting the troop. Just rule of thumb. Then in here, you will see that her goal is on there, and what she has sold online versus offline. Again, that offline number can only be updated on the computer side. They do have a couple of different options on here. One is visit my site. So if you have a customer that can only pay through Google Pay on their phone, you can show them the visit my site. They can scan the QR code, and then they can order it directly from your site. Mom can approve the order on her end, and then you can hand her cookies. Then if you've got, the other one is the email my site. Email my site is similar to that, except that you are literally taking an email from your customer and sending them an email so that they can purchase at a later time. But both of those can be done right from the mobile app, which is pretty nice. Okay. Y'all have any questions on those? You can reach us through customer care. That's the best way to reach Kim or Liana or any of our other membership team. So that is through customer care at girlscouts-ssc.org or by calling our phone number 208-377-2011. And lastly, we want to thank you for being here. Thank you, Liana, for joining us. It was great to have you in here to help with the troop side of things for this one.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Let's turn off the recording.